going to call to order the April 18th, 2019 meeting of the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners. Note the presence of Commissioner Gale and myself, which constitutes a quorum. And I'm going to ask Toria Hudson to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I want to note the presence of our Recorder of Deeds, Jean Sorg, who we'll be hearing from shortly, and our Controller, Karen Sanchez. That's it for the elected officials today. All right, I have one opening commissioner's comment, which is to just give a quick update on how the public demos of our new voting system have been going. Our first demo was in Ambler, thank you, Mayor Sorg, on Saturday, April 16th, and we had 318 attendees come through that morning. So that was really great, and we got a lot of very substantive feedback, which has been quite helpful. Then we had a mini demo in Upper Merion before our conversations with the commissioners last week, and we had over 100 attendees at that. So we are starting to get a decent amount of folks that have actually had hands-on on this. So the next two opportunities to see this in action are two conversations with the commissioners. The first is Tuesday, April 23rd at Montgomery County Community College in Pottstown, so the west campus of the community college. The demo will start at 6, and the conversations with the commissioners will start at 7. And then the next one is Wednesday, May 1st at the Upper Perkiomen Education Center in Pennsburg. The demo will start at 6, and the conversations with the commissioners will start at 7. Do you have any?
Yeah, just like to mention this week is a very important week. First of all, it's Holy Week. We have Good Friday tomorrow, Easter on Sunday, Passover begins on Friday. So I want to wish all the county employees, everyone here, a blessed Easter season with their families. And also it's important because it's Telecommunicator Appreciation Week, and this week in April. So this week I stopped at the Operations Center in Eagleville to show our appreciation for all the telecommunicators that are literally the first of first responders in the time of an emergency, whether it's police, fire, or ambulance. They're doing an outstanding job. Their job can be very stressful. And a couple months ago we did a presentation on our efforts to recruit and retain telecommunicators. So it's great to see employees there ranging from 30 years of service with the county, 14 years of service, 7 years, and then people that have been there a few months and are still undergoing with training. So they're doing an outstanding job, and I know every one of us on the board appreciates all their effort. So I wanted to mention that today.
Great, thank you. All right, we will move on to approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the April 4th, 2019 meeting minutes of the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners?
Motion to approve.
I will second. Any comment? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Are there any negative votes? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. All right, Ms. Heskell. It's that time of year again.
Time of year again. We're back. Good morning.
Good morning.
As May approaches, so does Older Americans Month. And the theme this year is Connect, Create, and Contribute. We encourage all our seniors to connect, create, and contribute. This year we start the month off with celebrating our most senior residents. On Wednesday, May 1st, the 10th annual Centenarian Luncheon being held at the Living Branches Dock Woods community. This year there was a total of 420 invitations sent to our county centenarians. 56 have responded as being able to attend. I think I got that about close, right? Okay.
What was that number again? The big number?
420 invitations, 420.
Okay.
Yep. And 56 can come. So the atmosphere is always exciting, and it's always an honor to sit in a room filled with our centenarians who bring history and knowledge to the room and with them. I always enjoy hearing the stories around the tables. I want to thank the steering committee, several are here today, for their diligence and support as they work together to make it another memorable event. I'd like to say their names, please. Karen Garzottini, Lynn Digenhart is not here, Charlene Rogers is not able to be here, Debbie Tedesco, Denise Pottinger and Courtney Thurston work at AAS, I thank them, and Juliana Guarna is in the Planning Commission, and she's the one that's responsible for the artwork. She always does a great job, and we appreciate her very much. I want to thank the Living Branches Dockwoods community, of course, for providing the venue again this year. Before I introduce our special guest, I just want to announce one other thing that's big in May. is the 34th Annual Senior Games. That will be the week of May 6th through the 10th. That's for anybody over 50 years of age and to participate in 25 different events held during the week. This year, over 476 people have registered for the event and 126 first-time attendees. So hopefully we have good weather and that week goes well. The week will end with the Senior Expo on Friday, May 10th from 8:30 to 11 in the Health Science Building of Community College. Over 50 vendors have signed up for that. I want to thank Phil Brady, chair of the committee for the games, and the rest of the committee for their work on this event. And I want to thank our HHS employee, Susan Wenrick, for her leadership relative to the Senior Expo. For further information on that, the Senior Games, please go to moncoseniorgames.com. So back to our guest centenarian. We have this year Louise Basil. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, great. Louise was born on October 25th, 1917 in Plymouth Township. She had 8 siblings, with 6 of them living to be at least 90 years old. Am I accurate on that?
Still alive besides her.
Okay,
He's 90.
90. Louise has 3 children, 6 grandchildren, 4 great-grandchildren, and 3 step-great-grandchildren. Her daughter, Carol P. Antone, all right, is a county employee, works in Judge Murphy's office. And they are here today with us as well. Do you want to stand up, Mrs. Basil?
Stand up.
And Carol, do you have anything? Do you have anything you want to say?
We'd love to welcome you to say a few words if you'd like, and give us your secret.
Do you want to talk for a little bit? Do you want to talk to him?
I don't know what to say.
Tell him what you do to keep young.
Well,
She said,
I'm active, that's all. I cook all day long.
she cooks
That's
for
nice,
us.
that's great.
Feeds the neighborhood.
I feed the hungry.
Where do you live? I'm gonna come visit.
She still lives in the house. Actually, she was pregnant with me on 7. So she was pregnant with me when they moved into the house, my mother and father, and she still lives in that house in Black Horse. We live in
I
Plymouth.
live all alone.
She lives by herself. And
I do all my own work, everything.
She does.
Housework.
She does all her housework, she does all the cleaning, I take her food shopping, she does her own food shopping. Comes to church every Sunday with me at Holy Savior, and
That's so great.
she just keeps busy. She had 3 people for lunch yesterday, I made lunch for them, and that's what she does. That's what she
Wow.
does.
That was
No,
beyond
she never
expert.
drove. She never drove, so she's not a driver.
I don't want to go out on the road like that.
Not now
I
anymore.
understand
It's
that.
dangerous.
Yeah, it can be.
She's doing well though.
Yeah,
She's doing
oh,
well.
that's so
She
great.
thoroughly enjoyed the luncheon last year. It was
Good.
very
And are you
nice.
coming this year, I hope?
Yes.
Good.
We're coming.
Good.
And bringing another guest with us, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
She's my driver.
When I get off work.
I'm sure Judge Murphy will make sure you're able to get to the luncheon
Oh,
this
yeah,
year.
she's very good.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you so much for coming, and Doreen and all of you, thank you so much for the work that you do on this every year. It's such an important event and one that we enjoy so much. The luncheon is a wonderful celebration of the seniors in our community. And is this number right? This proclamation says we're now up to 478 residents that are 100 years and older or older.
Well, they sent out 420 invitations, but I'm
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, wow, that's
Yep.
incredible.
Amazing.
It's really amazing.
Yep.
And then I also want to just put a plug in for the senior games, which are really fun. It's a whole week of activity, no cost, right?
No cost.
No
Well,
cost.
I think there might be a $25 registration fee.
Registration fee maybe.
Yeah.
But you can sign up for as many activities as you wish, and there are just an incredible range of activities, so you don't have to be any kind of great athlete. There's everything from shuffleboard and bocce ball to tennis and running. And
Pickleball this year is one of the biggest ones, yeah.
So it really runs the gamut and is an awful lot of fun. So I
Yeah.
would definitely encourage people. Where can they go to learn more about that? If
I think I have Monco Senior Games, moncoseniorgames.com.
okay, so
Yep.
Montco Senior
All the stuff,
Games.
all the information's right on there.
That's great. Good. All right, Commissioner Young?
I too look forward to the luncheon, like I do every year.
Yeah.
It's a great time, and like you said, Doreen, we can learn so much from our senior citizens, their knowledge, their history, their life experiences. They always have great stories to tell, and we can learn from them. And Louise, I've seen you around town because I live in Plymouth, and I've seen you at Holy Savior, I've seen you at the grocery store. I wish you continued health. That's wonderful. And Carol, you have good genetics there, so
Yeah.
good for you.
Fingers crossed.
And I encourage everyone to attend and participate in the senior games. Last year, I lost, I'm ashamed to say, in shuffleboard. Went against some seasoned seniors, and they took me to school there. So it's always a great time, and it continues to grow every year.
Every
So that's a
year.
credit to you and Phil Brady, the Parks and
Phil
Rec
Brady,
Director
yeah,
of Plymouth
the committee.
Township. Does an outstanding job, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
Thank
Good.
you.
Thanks for having us.
Well, we have a proclamation. You want to come up? Miss Louise, you want to come up and get your picture taken? We'd love to have you. Or we can come down there if that would be easier.
Do you want to come up here?
Or should we come down?
Watch this, right here.
Right this way.
There you go. She doesn't bump anything.
Okay,
Keep going, don't stop. They need you dead center. You are the main attraction. Come up to this.
Come right over
Good to see
here.
you. Looking good.
It's so nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming. Oh, yeah. You too. So you can stand right in between these two flags, or right next to them. Yeah, perfect.
I'm gonna get one
And
person on
anybody
this
else want to come up? You all?
side.
Come on up.
It's a fun event.
It is a fun event.
We worked all year for this.
Are we good here?
You want to go on the other side?
You don't look a day over 80.
Right? We good? Does one, we, all right? Okay.
I don't know why that just popped up, but I'm gonna take a few more. Good.
Good?
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks so much.
All right, thank you so much.
I enjoyed it.
Good, nice to see you. Experience. Yeah, cooking. She said last year, everybody said to her, you're the baby here last year. Thank you. Thank you.
Do you want this or should?
Too. You want it, okay?
In 2 weeks.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, watch the board.
I'm giving you a head of
Great, thank you.
You know, I just want to give this booklet a little shout out. They produce this every year for the luncheon, and in it are a photo and stories of a lot of the seniors that will be at the luncheon. And it is the most inspiring thing to read. I try to look through it every year. It's incredible, just the wonderful people that are part of our community here in Montgomery County, and how much you can learn just from reading this. So I would encourage folks to, is this online? I don't know. Is it online, Doreen? Or just at the event?
We're actually doing some stuff this year to get a lot more information. We're working with the
Yeah.
communications team at HHS.
That would
So
be
we're
great.
trying to put it on the website specifically for the centenarians, because we don't get enough, like we depend on Social Security to email the invitations for privacy purposes. And if someone moves from their community into a nursing home, there's always a problem with getting it
Keeping
out
track
there.
of them,
So,
yeah.
yes.
Well, this is really inspiring to look at, so.
And the oldest one is
Juliana,
105.
the special shout out.
Did you do
Yeah,
it?
she's shy, I'm not. But she has been integral, if not exclusively responsible for most, if not all of the artwork and the design and the placement.
Well, congratulations, it's really, really terrific. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Ms. Lupinacci. Welcome and good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, right here, right now, Montgomery County has been on the forefront in fighting the opioid epidemic. This epidemic, as you know, affects every town, borough, and neighborhood in Montgomery County, has touched so many lives. We have all heard the tragic stories of grief and loss, and so many of the stories told about addiction start with the inside of a home medicine cabinet, and there have been countless studies to support that as well. I'm happy to announce that on April 27th, the Montgomery County District Attorney's Office, together with the Police Chiefs Association, are once again sponsoring the Montgomery County Drug Take-Back Day, an event that promotes and encourages everyone to go through their medicine cabinets and get rid of used, unwanted, and expired medications. This spring's Take-Back Day coincides with the Drug Enforcement Agency's National Take-Back Day, so there will be no shortages of opportunities to get rid of unused prescriptions. Clearing out the medicine cabinets is a very important step toward combating the opioid epidemic that each and every one of us can do. So the Drug Take Back Day this year, again, sponsored by my office, as well as the Police Chiefs Association, will be running from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday, April 27th. There are 43 locations where anyone can drop out their used medications. And this year, we are proud to announce that we have 4 supermarkets participating in the Take Back Day, 2 Wegmans and 2 Giants. And the Take Back Day car will be there. That I'm sure you have all seen the little buggy around the courthouse. That will be at all 4 locations assisting. There's a complete list of locations on our website and a complete list of items that can be collected. I'm also proud to report to this board this year that the first Take Back Day, which occurred in 2010, which I was honored to be a part of, we collected 513 pounds of medication then, and we thought that was a great result. But every year we have continued to break records. Last year, in April 2018, we received and safely disposed of nearly 7,900 pounds of medications, and in October, another 9,000 pounds. So nearly 17,000 pounds in 2018, up from 15,000 pounds in 2017. So displayed on our screen here is this year's poster, which every year our paralegal Jill Neal in my office does a fantastic job promoting the event, and I have some here if anybody would like to take them back to their offices and display so everybody is aware. So thank you so much for allowing me to come here today and promote this very important event. And it's just one of many things that my office as well as the county is doing, and it really is on the forefront in battling this epidemic. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much for coming today. We really appreciate the update. So the call to action for this spring is we definitely have to at least break 8,000, right? To
Absolutely.
Beat last spring. Okay. I like to, be very concrete about what we're trying to do here. So
Yes.
that's terrific. And then you have the website, but in case people can't see it, it's montcopa.org/DA, which stands for the District Attorney's Office. And I assume then all the locations are listed there, including the 4 grocery stores?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
terrific.
and they're
That's
throughout all of Montgomery County.
I can't overstate how important it is to safely and properly dispose of unused medications. The last thing that people should do is flush them down the toilet, which seems to be everyone's sort of knee-jerk response to these things. When they get flushed down the toilet, they get into our water system. They have to be taken out of the water system by water purification plants, and it's just not that easy. So the last place we want them to go is down the sink or the toilet. And we really want these things out of people's homes. The data is very clear here in Montgomery County that the vast, like over 90% of people who develop a substance use disorder in this county start with a prescription medication. And it may not have been prescribed to them. It could have been prescribed to a family member, but not used up, and then another family member starts taking them, and it is a very short path to having a substance use disorder. We've also heard stories of people's houses being on the market and people coming in during open houses in teams, and one person distracts the real estate agent while the other person quickly runs through all of the bathrooms in the house and takes any opioid medications that are in those bathrooms. So for many, many reasons, if you are not actually taking a medication, you should just get rid of it, and this is the absolute best way to do that. So thank you for the update.
Thank
And
you very
It's been
much.
a wonderful partnership working with Kevin Steele
Yes.
as our district attorney and your entire office. We are reducing the number of lives lost to this horrible disease, and we will not rest until we are down to as close as we can get to 0.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much.
Just, Tanya, I appreciate
Yes.
your leadership and all your hard work for this effort. Hoping for another streak of breaking the record with the amount collected this year. And please express our appreciation to all your colleagues in the District Attorney's Office.
I will,
Good
thank
luck
you.
next Saturday.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thanks. All right. Recorder of Deeds, Sorg.
I want to thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to update you guys on some of the exciting things we're doing. We are always working towards making what my son, who is a computer program kind of guy, says the end user experience better. So some of the things we'll be talking about today are end user experience type things that we think make working with our office better. Let me see, I think. Is that how we, oh, no. How do we move forward, Corey? Am I making a mess of this?
I mean, a little bit.
All right. Next time we should practice. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what the Recorder of Deeds office does, just a quick thing. Land documents all get recorded in our office. So that means your deed, your mortgage, your satisfaction, but it also means stormwater plans and PennDOT right-of-ways, all those sorts of things end up in my office, and they're all available online for anyone to see and monitor. We also work with notaries. We give them their oath and record their commissions, and we are very honored to work with our veterans by recording their discharge paperwork as well. And our job is to keep all of these documents in perpetuity. So, one of the things I'm wanting to talk to you about today is a project that we have been working on for a couple of years. It has always bothered me that we had two separate databases that people would have to search on if they wanted to search on their property or another property. And so there was one that was from before 1972 and one since. So if you wanted to research your home or your parents' farm or something like that, you would be switching between two different systems. And I always thought that was not really end-user friendly, shall we say. But we have documents online that date all the way back to 1784 when we became a county, when the Commonwealth declared that Montgomery County was now a county, and we received our first recorder of deeds, which was a guy named Frederick Muhlenberg. And before that, everything was in Philadelphia. So we've got everything from that point forward online, and now we have everything on the same system. So of course, the advantages here are that you're not going to be using an old clunky system and then going to a newer system. It's all in one system. You don't have to learn two different systems. We're very excited about being able to bring this to people. So it seems like it would have been an easy process when we started a couple years ago to bring them together. And I've been told I'm not allowed to thank my first deputy, Diana Dillio. So I will not thank my first deputy, Diana Dillio. At all will I mention her name, Diana Dillio, and thank her for all the work she has done to make this happen. We had 5.5 million images on the old system. And to bring that into a new system was actually quite a monumental task. So I will not thank Diana and the rest of my staff for all the work they have done on that. So now you can get everything from 1784 to present, and if you would like to see anything before that, the Recorder of Deeds in Philadelphia has your items. They are not available online before 1972 in Philadelphia, but they do have a brand new archive there that I know that they would be happy to have you visit if you need anything prior to that. So moving right along. So I wanted to change direction here a little bit and talk about something else. When we're looking at people's deeds, many of us read the article in the Philadelphia Inquirer earlier this year about fraud in Philadelphia. Now, we are not Philadelphia. Montgomery County does not have the same fraud issues. But I am constantly going out there and educating people about a free service my office has to help people combat fraud and protect their property. And so I bring it to you today just because I bring it everywhere I go. You can sign up online on my website, montcopa.org/ROD. You can sign up for Fraud Sleuth, and this will give you notifications of anything that gets recorded against your property. And that can be good or bad. For one, my husband and I paid off our mortgage a couple years ago, and I got 3 notifications that my mortgage had been satisfied, which was pretty darn awesome. So please, I'm encouraging everybody to protect their property, to protect their parents' property by signing up for Fraud Sleuth. And you can get help from my staff by calling if you're not sure exactly how to get started on that. We also have an issue which is more of a deceptive practices that's out there, and I like to let people know about that. Please know my office will never send out letters saying, send us money. We do not send out letters like that, just like the IRS does not send out letters, does not make phone calls saying, give us this or you're going to go to jail. We do not send out letters demanding you send us $89 for a copy of your deed. So people fall for it all the time. They can come to my office, print off their deed for 50 cents a page, or they can go online and print it for a whole lot less. So I just wanted to bring up a couple of those things because I think it's our job to also fight fraud and deceptive practices. Now on to a fun thing, our veterans program. We are so honored to have the ability and the amazing responsibility to record veterans' discharge paperwork. That was given to us, I believe, in 1860 by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that declared all veterans should record their discharge paperwork with their Recorder of Deeds office in the county. And we are so honored to have that responsibility. And so every day we go out and try and make sure that veterans are getting what they need. Now, I want to make something very specific here. Not all veterans realize that they are eligible for this. This is every branch, including our National Guard. It's for those who served their entire career in the armed forces and those who served a couple of years. It's for everybody. We want to serve them, and we want to make sure it gets out there. And the reason I say this is there are about 40,000 veterans in this county, and we have helped maybe a quarter of them. So we're trying to get the word out that they should record their discharge papers with our office, and to give them a little carrot to do this. Oh, I'm going back. Okay. We have about 500 businesses in the county then that will give them a discount with the card that we will provide them. These cards are not paid for with tax money. We have people that donate, we have businesses that donate to us, and individuals that donate to us to keep this project going. So, I'm sorry here. And to help veterans with that, we understand it's not always easy to get to Norristown Monday through Friday. So, 3 years ago when I took office, I said we're bringing it on the road. And we bring it on the road 30 times a year all around the county to make sure we serve veterans. So we want to get the word out there to have veterans come. They can come to Norristown Monday through Friday, but we also have lots of great opportunities out on the road. And here, I'll leave it up there for a list of, we will have these on our website again, montcopa.org/ROD. We have a number of them coming up in just the next 2 months. We'll be in Lansdale, we'll be in Cheltenham, we'll be in Oaks, we'll be all over the place. So veterans don't have to come here. We want to see them, and we want to serve them, and we'll be all over Montgomery County. I'll just leave this for a second in case anybody needs to write anything down. If you've got relatives over in Willow Grove, we're going to be there. If you've got relatives in Conshohocken, we're going to be there. So make sure you send them to us. And again, I'm going to turn on a dime. I'm sorry, we have so much going on. It's just so exciting. We love serving. A new thing for us, we often go out and work with the users of our office that record documents with us. But we've got a brand new thing. We're calling it the ROD School. We are hosting our first Recording 101 class geared at municipal planners. And I want to thank planning, they're letting us use their space. So I want to thank them so much for allowing us to use their space. We're going to be bringing in municipal planners in June for our very first Recording 101 for municipal planners, because I feel it's very important to communicate with the people who use our office so they get the best experience possible. So thank you so much for your time. I know we went over a lot here, but we have a lot of great things going on, and we just wanted to make sure everybody knew about them. Thank you so much.
Well, congratulations. That's a lot of great stuff. Can we just go back to the veterans for 1 second? First of all, where can people find all those dates online? If they
can go to our website, montcopa.org/ROD. They are on the county calendar. We make sure they get on the Montco PA county calendar so they can get those. They can also sign up for emails through our office. Again, just go to our website and contact us through that, and they can get on an email list, and we'll send them off where we're going to be. About once every month or two, we'll send off an email telling you where we're going to be and what other great things we have going on for veterans.
That's great. And then can you just remind folks why it's so important for veterans to record their discharge papers?
I'm so glad you asked that. As anyone who is a veteran knows, those discharge paperwork is often known for teens. give them proof of everything they're eligible when they get out of the service. So that means education to burial. So everything that they are eligible for comes through that. And by recording it, they don't have to worry about where it is. People move, they misplace things. Not like I've ever misplaced anything, but some of us do misplace things. And even the National Archive back in the 70s had a fire that destroyed all their documents. So by recording them with us, they are saved in perpetuity. The veteran and their family can get immediate access to them Monday through Friday. So it's important that veterans record these so they have the access to them when they need them, because usually you can't wait 6 weeks to get it from the National Archive if you lose it. You need it right now.
Okay, great. And thank you for that, and thank you for all of the other great work you're doing. It looks like you're really being very forward-thinking. And
we are trying to be innovative and worried about that end user experience, as my son has given me that term, so I appreciate that from him.
That's good.
Thank you for the update. And how's the response been from the title searcher community? I'm sure they're positive.
I think it's been pretty good. Obviously, professional title searchers were used to using both systems.
The old system.
But this allows them to do everything on one system. It allows them more easily do it at their place of business as opposed to coming into the office. As you know, they often come into our office because it's just plain easier when you have to jump between two different systems. Now they have one system, which means if they do it from their office, it's even easier.
So less title searchers are coming?
We probably have fewer than when you worked in that office. We probably have fewer that come in, yes.
Okay, great. And I was there when the Veteran ID program started, and it's great to see that it's continuing and moving on strong.
I will tell you this, there is another county nearby who I've been told by our own Veterans Affairs has seen what we're doing by bringing it on the road so many times, and now they're trying to come out almost as often as we do. So we are helping veterans in other counties as well.
Nice.
That's great. Well, thanks to you and your whole team, particularly the woman whose name I'm not going to say.
Diana, who we will not say.
Yeah, right. All right, thanks, Diana.
Thank you.
Congratulations. All right, Mr. Dartone. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. So this morning I'm going to give you an update on the 2018 financial results. This is obviously preliminary information. As I've mentioned in previous years, at this point in time, we spent a lot of time between January and April working directly with the Controller's Office, getting our books closed on a preliminary basis, and doing a lot of accrual work that happens at year end. The goal is that from this point on, the auditors will come in, they'll complete their field work and the audit, and we'll issue the Controller's Office will issue the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, known as the CAFR, with the target date of June 30. That is what we're targeting for issuance. As I mentioned in the past, the county converted to a CAFR in 2016, and in 16 and 17, both of those CAFRs were admitted to the GFOA's Certificate of Achievement in Financial Award Program. We've received a lot of feedback. We've enhanced the document working with the Controller's Office, and the goal is that for 2018, once that report is issued, it will be submitted for the program again, and we're hopeful that we can achieve that award. As I said, we've come a long way. We've received a lot of feedback and have incorporated many enhancements to the document that have been recommended by the GFOA, and these are best practices that are used across the country. So turning to the financial results, as I said, this is preliminary, subject to change as we go through the audit. There could be audit adjustments, but as the numbers stand today after we completed our accruals, the performance looks good, particularly compared to the budget and what we were projecting last November when we put the proposed budget out. You can see the budget was anticipating revenues in excess of expense in the range of $3.8 million. As the numbers stand today, we've outperformed on the revenue side by about $10.4 million. It's about a little less than 3% better. Expenses were higher, and I'll explain why, by about $8.3 million. That leaves us with a projected ending balance of about $5.9 million. So $2.1 million better than what the budget had anticipated. If we were to finish with these kinds of results, our fund balance would be in about the 21% range, and that was what we had projected when we put the budget out for 2018. So turning to revenue, you've seen this slide before. This is on an actual basis where the numbers are. Obviously, real estate tax is always in the range of about 50% of our revenues for the general fund budget. This includes all sources of taxes. Grants, 36%. It fluctuates between 35, 36, depending on our allocations. And you're going to hear from me that we did have some higher allocations in grant funding sources, federal and state, across the board. They do have offsetting expenses, though, that come with them. So turning to the real estate tax, which is extremely important to our budget, we collected about $208 million. As I said, that's from all sources. The discounts that were taken equaled about $3.8 million. That's consistent with discounts that have been taken in prior years. So we always project in this range, and it seems to come out almost exact. We've had strong real estate tax collections, particularly in a good economy. You're going to see that collections are going to do a lot better. We're outperforming the budget in real estate taxes across the board by about $2.1 million. That's about 1% higher on the real estate tax revenue budget. We collected $23 million for the Montgomery County Community College real estate tax, and that revenue is about $300,000 higher than what was actually collected in 2017. 100% of that revenue is passed on to the community college, and it doesn't happen at year end. It happens as the money comes in and it's reconciled with the treasurer's office. So turning to our real estate assessment-based growth, we've been tracking this. When I do presentations, I give you an update. You can see we finished between 2018 and 2019, we grew by a little less than 0.5%. That's a little bit off of where we've been trending in recent years. It was slightly higher, but as you know, with some of the larger development that was happening between 15 and 18, some of it, had come on board, or on the tax rolls in 17 and 18. So, we're seeing a little bit of a scale back there, but overall, it's still consistent with the trend. When you go back to 2013, the 19 year to date is trending around where we would expect it to be at this time, and that's based on recent information that's been provided by the Board of Assessment through March 31st. So roughly that less than 0.5% increase added about $282 million of taxable real estate base or real estate tax assessment to our base. What does that mean? That translates to about $1 million of net new revenue. That's what I would call organic growth. And that's, obviously not a large amount of revenue when you consider that we're operating under a budget of $400 million in the general fund. It provides about $110,000 of net new revenue for the community college. So that's their organic growth. Turning to some more of the housing market data, this was just recently updated and presented by our planning department. I think it's interesting. It shows, a good trend. You can see that the median prices for homes sold across the county increased by 3.5% compared to 2017. It's up to 295,000 versus 285 last year. When you go back to pre-recession times, 2007, you can see that the median home sale price was about $278,000. So we've just exceeded that with these numbers by about 6%. So that's a good sign. As you look to the right of the chart, though, you can see there's still a continuing trend of what I think is less inventory out there. The average day of homes on the market, between 16 and 18 has gone from 69 to 45 days. And when you look at the average inventory, it's down pretty significantly on a percentage basis. So I think that is a continuing trend that we're seeing, and that we'll have to monitor that as we go through 19. But overall, the market's stable, and this is all really good for us and the general fund budget. Turning to gaming revenue. So when I was doing the presentation last fall, the state gaming revenue is a new source of funding in the general fund in 2018. We were projecting about $1 million of revenue when we put the budget together for 18. It actually outperformed the budget just by about 62%. We took in about $1.6 million in total. There is a pass-through component that's over and above the $1.6 million that goes to 3 of the not-for-profits in Montgomery County that are listed up here. That totaled about $542,000, and that pass-through money is being provided to these agencies as we receive the revenue from the state, which comes in on a quarterly basis. I do expect that in the short term this year, as long as the economy is holding up, this will be a revenue that we'll see some better than inflationary growth in. Turning to some of the other major variances in the revenue categories, as I mentioned, grant revenue is up by about $6.5 million, or a little less than 5%. This is across the board in various grant funding allocations that we have. Investment income finished a lot higher than we would have expected when we put the budget out, for 2018, which would have been, back in November of 2017. The actual revenue results right now are showing about $2 million. That's $1.4 million higher than what we had budgeted. Most of the reason is that the federal short-term rates increased significantly since we did put out the budget. So, it's a good thing, I think, that going, through this year and into next year, though, I think we're going to see more stability here and probably, being around the space. State Act 315, that's health department funding, finished up $1.3 million higher than the budget, which was $2.1 million. This primarily relates to a reallocation of state revenue. A lot of this is one-time revenue that won't be realized in the future, but based on the reallocation, our base will be better than what we had expected. So this was good for us in this year, in 2018. So turning to expenditures, you can see clearly, as we've said in the past, the major categories, personnel expense, came in about 43%. That catches everything: overtime, healthcare benefits, salary costs, part-time. And then our controllables are another 42% on an actual basis, and that's our contracted services and our subsidy to the 911 fund. And debt service has been pretty stable in the area of about 11%, and that's a good level for a general fund budget. So overall personnel expense, we came in lower than budget. We saved about $2.3 million. It's about a 1.3% savings on the whole category. That's very consistent with our experience in 2017. Healthcare alone, we were able to save $1.3 million against the budget. A lot of that was related to healthcare experience. Overtime costs, on the other hand, were $1.1 million higher. We did have some offset there from staff vacancy credits. Other expenditure variances, contracted provider services. This is where a lot of the grant-funded services hit in these categories. That was about $10.6 million higher, which it should be. The general fund subsidy to the 911 fund was about $200,000 higher than what we had anticipated in the budget, and that was about a $2 million transfer that was made to the 911 fund. Debt service interest was down by we were saved against budget by about $700,000. As you'll recall, we did refinance debt in 2018. We got rid of the swap, and we achieved savings there, and some of that's reflected in this number. Tax refunds down $400,000. Training across the whole organization down $400,000. Our risk management area, we were able to save $300,000. That includes premiums and other costs, and in information technology, there was another $300,000 in savings. So next steps. We are going to be talking with the board in the weeks ahead about our fund balance reserves prior to officially closing the books and issuing the comprehensive annual financial report. And there may be some things that could require board action if we decide that we go in a direction with fund balance in terms of reserving it in different ways. We plan to have the audit complete. The Controller's Office is doing a great job with the schedule. The audit started earlier than anticipated, which is a good sign, and we have a really tight schedule, but I think that achieving the issuance date will not be a problem on June 30th.
All right.
That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Couple things I'd like to explore a bit. We began doing the comprehensive annual financial report 2 years ago.
Yes.
Is that correct? And could you just describe so the people listening understand how that's different than what we used to do and how this was an entirely voluntary step that we took, it's not required, but why we decided to make public much more robust reporting than what the county was doing before?
So the Government Finance Officers Association has best practices, recommendations for what is called the CAFR. It includes a substantial amount of information that wouldn't necessarily be required for regular or routine audited financial statements. There are standards that have to be met for that purpose, but by example, working with the Controller's Office, we added a brand new section to the audited financial statements that is a statistical section that gives 10-year history on many financial topics. So that alone, is probably an additional, 20 to 25 pages of financial information. And then it takes it a step further and gets more descriptive in a MD&A, management discussion analysis of, what has transpired with the county, not just from, a fund basis, but looking at the county as a whole, almost like a business, right? So with that and other aspects of footnote disclosure and financial presentation, I would say that the document probably has doubled in size.
And so any taxpayer can see this document, correct?
Yes, they're posted on the Controller's website back at least for the last 5 or 6 years, I would think, yeah.
So it's, I think, just a huge step forward in transparency to our constituents and taxpayers in this county. They have the ability to go on and see a tremendous amount of data, analyze it for themselves, ask questions. But just want to really commend you. This is a lot more work to produce. I know for both offices it takes a lot of time to do this, and I think it's a wonderful step in terms of making sure that everyone who is contributing to our financial system here in the county has the opportunity to see exactly how their money's coming in, how it's being spent, and what that means for the county.
Yeah.
So, and also just a quick question about overtime. I know we sort of revisit this every year, and I don't know if you have it at your fingertips, but I know historically a lot of our overtime has been difficult to predict because it has to do with issues around the correctional facility, for instance, people having to go to the hospital and needing to have someone from the correctional facility, a correctional officer, go with them, things like that. Is there anything unusual or different about our overtime this year, or anything that you want to comment on?
No, that is one of the major drivers, the correctional facility. I mean, they have almost 250 correctional officers out there, and there's different factors that impact it. The unknowns where they have to transport inmates to medical facilities and stay with them overnight. That's an unknown. There's trends of how frequently that happens, but that's a driver. And I would say that when we have staff vacancies, when there's turnover, obviously there has to be overtime paid to replace those. There is some savings on the personnel cost side that help us with that. But and in other areas, the sheriff's department, they have some overtime drivers there too. Don't forget, in that number, we did have the Cosby trial embedded in it too, the second trial. So some of that is in that additional cost over and above what we had anticipated in the budget.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you. Well, congratulations on another great year.
Thank you.
Commissioner Gale?
Yep. Dean, you mentioned in 2018 about 300,000 additional in revenue was collected towards the community college.
Yes.
And recently, the Board of Assessments has provided recent trends of assessment growth. Obviously, we're in the first half of the year still, but when you have conversations with the community college, is it safe to assume that projected revenues towards the college would be more than 300,000 next year?
So I would, they're on a fiscal year basis, and, so they're probably doing their budget planning, right, for their new fiscal year.
Right.
I would assume that they would be taking our trends and looking at what we're projecting and what our actual assessment growth has been, and probably building that into their revenue projections. I mean, you got to be a little bit conservative with it, right? You don't want to overestimate it, but I would bet that they're assuming some growth based on what they're seeing in the assessment base.
Okay, and then since they're undergoing with the budget process, do they have any plans that you're aware of for how to use their fund balance reserves that we'll be discussing in the future, whether they pay off debt service payments or things like that?
I'm not aware of those. We're not involved with their financial planning, but I mean, we get their updated audited financial statements once the audit's completed, so we know more of them, but we don't have conversations with them in terms of their financial planning.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, Mr. Bonner. Good morning.
Morning. Good morning, Commissioners. Before you, for your consideration, is a resolution authorizing the county to enter into an agreement with Upper Providence Township for construction of the Lock 60 Upper Schuylkill Valley Park Trail. Just by way of background, this is a long-sought connection, and I say long-sought by both our Montgomery County Planning Commission, by the townships themselves, connecting Upper Schuylkill Valley Park, a county park, to the rest of the Schuylkill River Trail. This section will be built along, and this is why Upper Providence is using this as sort of an efficiency measure. It's also going to allow them to do work on their sewer system, which is in the area of this right-of-way that they'll be building on. As part of the agreement, we will be reimbursing the township who will manage the project for up to 50% of the cost of the project, no greater than $300,000, which is obviously outlined in their resolution. They will manage, as I said, the contract pursuant to design up to county standards, and we will maintain the trail after it is constructed.
Thank you. Is there a motion that the proper county officials, in accordance with the authority conferred by law, subject to the approval of the county solicitor, hereby authorize Montgomery County to enter into a cost-sharing agreement with Upper Providence Township for the construction of the Upper Schuylkill Valley Park Trail, in which Montgomery County will pay 50% of costs up to a maximum contribution of $300,000.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Gale. I will second. Any board comment? Just to say, I will make one quick comment that says, yay. This is really exciting. It's great to see these final pieces come together along the Schuylkill Trail, so it's pretty exciting. Any public comment? All right, hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Are there any negative votes? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Ms. Hertz. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Before you is a resolution to authorize the advertisement of amendments to the 2017 and 2018 Consolidated Annual Action Plans to HUD. The amendment is essentially canceling $500,000 in home project funding to the Advanced Living Communities project called the Chalet, and at the same time increasing funding in the same amount of $500,000 to the Advanced Living Communities project called Susie Clemens. In total, this will bring the Susie Clemens home allocation to $1.15 million and the total county allocation to $1.9 million, which is inclusive of $750,000 in housing reinvestment funds. So to give you a little bit of background, the county has long been involved in this project, Susie Clemens. It is a project building 60 units of affordable senior housing in Hatfield Township. It's the first development that will have 15 units for adults with disabilities that are maintained as affordable. 6 of these units are set aside for the behavioral health community at 20% of the area median income, meaning that they will be maintained as affordable for people who are low income and have behavioral health challenges. And the other 9 units will have project-based 811 program subsidies, meaning essentially that they will be maintained for residents who are earning at 30% or lower of the area median income. It's important to note that this is a really important development for the county because it will be also providing behavioral health services on site for residents who are located at the facility. A little bit of background regarding this reallocation of funding. Last year, November of last year, we received a letter from Advanced Living informing us or requesting a reallocation between the 2 projects that they're jointly managing, the Chalet project and the Susie Clemens project. They informed us that Susie Clemens has a $2 million budget shortfall for a variety of reasons. The first is that this project is largely being funded by low-income housing tax credits, as are most affordable housing developments across the state. And when they did their tax credit financing, their original projections were 7% higher than the actual allocation ended up being. And so that had a significant impact on the amount of tax credits that were received for the project. Second is that the changes in tariffs have increased pricing for steel and lumber in the construction industry. So that had significant impact on their construction budget. Costs were increased. To give you a sense, lumber costs went from $17 per square foot to $25 per square foot. Third, they received about half of the anticipated allocation from the Housing Reinvestment Funds in last year's application to behavioral health. And then finally, they had a significant loss in private funding as the foundation moved or shifted their priorities to fund other projects. So in total, they have about $2 million in shortfall in order to advance this project. And it's important that we act now because they are very close to being able to close on this project. It takes years to bring together financing for these kinds of large-scale developments. And so this change in funding will allow us to kind of cross the finish line. Our office has already taken significant actions to ensure that this is the last possible thing that we can do to ensure that the project comes to completion. The first is that we ensure that the developer, Advanced Living, has reinvested the maximum amount of their developer fee per the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency allowable limits. We've also ensured that they have applied for all other available funding sources, including FAIR, which is another state grant program, and other private bank programs. They have also done significant value engineering to reduce the cost of construction where possible. However, low-income housing tax credit projects are held to a higher energy efficiency standard that's called Passive House certification. And so that does increase the construction costs and limits the amount of value engineering that they're able to do. Finally, they have taken on additional debt that is to the maximum amount that is feasible in order to also maintain the affordability of the project over the next 15 to 30 years. So this amendment is to advertise for the decrease in funding from the Chalet project and increase in funding to the Susie Clemens project. I should note too, just because it's Centenarian Day, that again, this is a senior housing development. Since 1992, the county has built over 1,000 units for senior housing, which accounts for about 75% of our affordable housing development overall. So this is a really great project. Advanced Living is a faith-based organization that's truly committed to advancing the rights and dignity of seniors in our community by providing them with safe and stable housing. This is one way we can ensure that that continues to move forward.
Great, thank you. Is there a motion that the proper county officials, in accordance with the authority conferred by law, subject to the approval of the county solicitor, hereby authorize Montgomery County to advertise the proposed changes to Montgomery County's 2017 and 2018 consolidated annual action plans as detailed on the attached exhibit? Be it further resolved that the amendments shall be available for public inspection and that public comments will be accepted by the Board of Commissioners until close of business on May 22nd, 2019.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Gale. I will second. So just a couple things, Ms. Hurst. So one, this is just obviously the advertisement. We will have opportunities to take public comment, and I assume that'll be easy, relatively easy for the public to do.
Yes, they can write public comment directly to our office until May 22nd.
Okay. And then the project that the funds are being transferred from, the Chalet project, that project is fully funded as far as we know?
Yes, they were able to secure a bridge loan for the financing for that project, and it has actually already gone to closing. So they're moving forward and have assured us that they will not be coming back to the county for additional funding for that project.
That was my question.
Yeah.
I'm good, yeah.
Okay, all right. Any public comment? All right, hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Are there any negative votes? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Soltesiak, advertisements.
Yes, we have 3 advertisements today. The first is an RFP on behalf of Public Safety for renovations to the Byrne Building at the Public Safety Training Campus. The successful firm will provide a solution to upgrade the thermal lining of the building. The contract will be awarded to the highest. The second is an RFP on behalf of Assets and Infrastructure to retain a full-time on-site construction inspection firm for County Bridge 274. The successful firm will provide full-time on-site construction oversight and inspection during the superstructure replacement of County Bridge 274 located on Henry Road over the West Branch Perkiomen Creek in Douglas Township. The contract will be awarded to the highest-rated firm. Number 3 is an RFP on behalf of Assets and Infrastructure for a county asset inventory. The successful firm will provide consultant services to analyze and document county-owned buildings, land, and equipment assets, deliver a comprehensive inventory of assets through a management system, and assist the county in developing a preventative maintenance plan based on the inventory. A contract will be awarded to the highest-rated firm. And as a reminder, all RFPs and bids are available on the county's public purchase website at montcopa.org/purchasing.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the preceding request for advertisements of RFPs as described by the Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Lee Soltesiak, and to authorize the proper county officials to execute the same, subject to the approval of the county solicitor?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Gale. I will second. Any board comment? Any public comment? All right, hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Are there any negative votes? Hearing none, motion carries. Awards of contract.
Yes, we have 10 items this morning. The first is a contract renewal for Health and Human Services for senior community centers. The award goes to multiple providers. The contract provides for operation of senior community centers throughout the county as per RFP 1614 and 1807. The providers are Generations of Indian Valley in the amount of $240,000, Greater Harleysville and North Penn Senior Services in the amount of $365,712, Klein Life of Montgomery County in the amount of $60,000, Montco SAC in the amount of $617,796, the Open Link in the amount of $51,528, Options in Aging in the amount of $52,260, the Palm in the amount of $146,724, Pottstown Area Seniors Center in the amount of $224,004, and Salem Adult Citizens Center in the amount of $35,208. This is the first of 2 available annual renewals. Number 2 is a contract renewal for Health and Human Services for legal services. The award goes to Legal Aid of Southeastern Pennsylvania in the amount of $210,000. The contract provides for legal services for families and individuals who are at imminent risk for or experiencing homelessness in Montgomery County for use by the Housing and Community Development Division as per RFP 1702. This is the second available of 3 optional annual renewals. Number 3 is a contract renewal for Health and Human Services for a consultant. The award goes to Triad Associates in the amount of $87,400. The contract provides for technical assistance for the completion of HUD requirements for the Housing and Community Development Division as per RFP 1703. This is the first available of 2 optional annual renewals. Number 4 is a contract renewal for Assets and Infrastructure for roadway materials. The award goes to multiple providers in the amount of $30,000. The contract provides for supplying, furnishing, and delivering of roadway materials. This is the second available of 2 optional annual renewals. The providers are Highway LLC and Glasgow Inc. Number 5 is a contract award for public safety for equipment. The award goes to Dell Inc. in the amount of $24,816.07. The contract provides for a server node for the EOC server, which will provide full redundancy should all or part of the main server become compromised. The equipment is available through a PA CoStarz contract. Number 6 is a contract award for public safety for software. The award goes to Eastern Communications Ltd. in the amount of $178,340. The contract provides for ComShop communication asset tracking software and a 2-year support and maintenance agreement. The software will streamline and consolidate technology capabilities, which will improve the county's ability to support first responder agencies. The software is available through a PA CoStarz contract. Number 7 is a contract award for multiple departments for the GIS system upgrade. The award goes to Geograph IT in the amount of $80,000. The contract provides for an upgrade to a cloud-based platform to better scale resources to meet our needs, reduced hardware purchases and maintenance, and provide easily restorable backup. Services are available through a PA CoStarz contract. Number 8 is a contract award for Assets and Infrastructure for engineering. The award goes to Whitney, Bailey, Cox, and Magnani in the amount of $247,869.18. The contract provides for a qualified engineering firm to perform the required engineering, environmental, permitting, and construction consultation for the replacement of County Bridge Number 77, Plymouth Road, over the Wissahickon Creek in Lower Gwinnett Township. The RFP was viewed by 77 firms with 17 responses received, and the contract is awarded to the highest rated provider. Number 9 is a contract award for Health and Human Services for a vehicle. The award goes to New Holland Auto Group in the amount of $23,873. The contract provides for a 2019 Ford Escape for the Office of Veterans Affairs. The vehicle is available on a PA CoStarz contract. And number 10, there are 17 contract renewals and 3 amendments for Health and Human Services. The providers and services are on the list in the back of the room. And there is 1 award for the Southeastern PA Regional Task Force. It's a contract award for training. The award goes to AF Matt and Associates LLC. The contract provides for a 3-part, 2-day course for the Philadelphia Fire Department's Machine Rescue Division. And this training is proprietary, and that is all.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the preceding awards of contract as well as the contract on behalf of the Southeast Pennsylvania Regional Task Force as described by the Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Lee Soltesiak, and to authorize the proper county officials to execute the same, subject to the approval of the county solicitor?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Gale. I will second. Any board comment? Any public comment?
I have a question.
You can make comment, as you know.
Hi, my name's Lane Mickman. I live in the county. I have a question about the award. I thought the operating officer said $210,000 to free legal aid for to help people who are facing homelessness. Free legal aid, every time I or anyone I know has called them, they do not help with anything, any legal matter other than landlord-tenant issues. So I guess I would say I'm questioning that. Where's that money really going? Why is it being allocated when free legal aid continues to deny residents any assistance for what that money's supposed to be allocated for? And I do know somebody right today being forced out of their home today. They have nowhere to live. Not me today. But, you know, I'll be sure to have them watch this video of this meeting today, and because they could use assistance.
And we'd be happy to get you some information about that particular program and where that money's going.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have
Hi, I'm Pauline Braccio from Tilmonson Township, and I'm talking about number 8, the award for engineering and for Bridge 77, and it's going to go to the highest. It's gone to the highest rated. Now, when I asked Josh in my email, what's the difference between lowest responsible provider and highest rated? Well, I asked, well, who does the rating? And lo and behold, it's the county. So in other words, the county can choose anybody who is not the lowest cost, and you can choose based on how much money they're going to give you. Somebody could just buy their way into being the one who gets the contract. So I think that's not really the best option, not the best way to do this, and I think it ought to be more transparent about that highest rating kind of a thing, because I didn't know until I asked. Thank you for the answer, but I just think it opens up a can of worms for people buying their way into getting contracts.
All right. Any other public comment? Okay. We'll be happy also, Mr. Stein, perhaps you could get Ms. Braccio a copy of our procurement policy so she understands
I have a copy
what
of it
safeguards
already.
are in place.
I have a copy already, thank you.
All right. Any other public comment? All right. Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Are there any negative votes? Hearing none, motion carries. All right. We'll move to general public comment.
Commissioners, good morning. My name is Elaine Mickman. I live in the county for 35 and a half years. And I want to raise the issue again, or I guess you might say I can't overstate the issue of what's going on with the court, and the county is funding the court, so it is absolutely relevant. Just recently, I found on the courthouse computer system records showing that the support obligor in my child support case, the U.S. government has $6.5 million of liens and over $1.8 million of those tax liens 2016. So while the domestic relations and all those involved, the director, the support masters, the hearing officers, while they're allowing a support obligor to come in year after year and not provide any proof of income and accept hearsay, this support obligor is making millions of dollars a year and the child is left in poverty. At this point, my child support, my minor child, unemancipated, and special needs child, his support was cut off in December. So I have a child who's been without child support for 4 months. There's no explanation for it. How many millions of dollars is this support obligor earning right now? I guess in 2 years I'll find out how many millions he's made, because he must have made about $4.5 million in 2016 to owe over $1.8 million in taxes. I attended a first-level child support conference on March 14th, and the hearing officer declined to enter a support order. And she gave no reason, no explanation. It's contrary to all the rules, the laws, the regulations, the procedure. There's no explanation other than her currying a favor to the support obligor so he can defeat child support while she benefits personally in some way. And by the way, I did report this to the controller about a month ago, Karen Sanchez, and it's supposed to be looked into, but meantime, my child's been without support for 4 months and a month since I've reported the fraud. So this jet-setting obligor, in my case, owes $6.5 million of taxes to the U.S. government and doesn't have to turn over required proof of income, gets special and preferential treatment, and I'm not getting an answer why, while my kid is left without support. So, again, you need to start looking at funding these different programs, the court, the domestic relations, paying the salaries for these employees who have no explanation for their conduct other than accepting personal benefits. I also want to bring up to, actually I can't overstate the Pennsylvania General Assembly's express intent of Title 23. Primary consideration is to be given to the welfare of the family. The court and the domestic relations are both supposed to mitigate the harm to spouses and their children caused by the legal dissolution of a marriage. They're supposed to effectuate economic justice. This is the express intent of the General Assembly. It's not happening. And then it can't be ignored and overlooked about the judiciary. I'd like to know why commissioners are not looking into requesting or demanding some sort of review, a report card, because the residents certainly would like a report card on the judges. Why they are being retained without anybody even looking at their conduct, what's going on. They're getting to run, if any politician ran for office, including yourselves, people are looking at what has been going on while you were in office, but nobody's looking at what's going on with these judges. It has to be done. They've been operating an asset stripping family forfeiture scheme for years, and people are being left homeless, families, and it's completely opposite to what's supposed to be going on under the law. So I'm reaching out. You need a report card for these judges.
Thank you.
And I need, somebody's got to step up with the
Ms. Nickman, your time is up.
fraud.
Can I go next? Sure. A couple of things. When 2 weeks ago, when Mr. Stein said he knew I was going to say that I didn't receive it, well, he knew it because one, either he didn't send it or he sent it from a different address that would not have come into my inbox. So you want to try to make me look like a liar? Well, it's not going to happen because I'm standing on the truth.
So I don't need a response. It's not interactive, Josh, not interactive. Okay, so, this past Monday evening at the NAACP forum, I asked you the question at the forum about child support and it illegally being terminated before the child is emancipated. And you, Valerie, switched it to divorce. You mentioned Ms. McMahon, I did not. And Ms. McMahon's divorce was finalized almost 8 years ago. So it had nothing to do with divorce. And it has to do with everything that she just said. It's not an allegation that they are doing illegal conduct, that they are committing federal crimes. It's not an allegation, it's a fact. And the proof is in the order by the support master who terminated on December 5th the child support when the child was still a minor. He's still in high school, he's special needs. So that is a criminal offense. And you are aiding and abetting, you are complicit in that crime because you just turned a blind eye to it. You changed the subject, you brought up something that was patently false, and you're a liar. So, you know, you actually speak more lies than President Trump is accused of speaking. The other thing I want to bring up is in Upper Marion, when you had the town hall and you're talking about the SEPTA project, a lot of those residents do not want the SEPTA project to happen. Ken Lawrence has ties to SEPTA. He's on their board. So I would like to see transparency. How much money is SEPTA giving to Ken's or yours or both of yours campaign? Because one question from the audience was, if the county says no, can they still go ahead with it? Well, the county's never going to say no because SEPTA is going to be paying you guys because, you know, Ken is on the board. You know, that's a conflict of interest. So if you want to be a commissioner, why are you on the board of anything? You know, and also he mentioned Merck, not that night, but at another NAACP forum. Now you keep bragging about the opioid crisis and how you're fighting it. I don't understand how saving someone's life when they've overdosed is actually combating the opioid crisis. The crisis is that people are becoming addicted in the first place. And, you know, Merck is one of the producers, but they're also the second highest tax revenue source for the county. And, you know, Ken has ties to Merck. So here you go again. You know, you need to break this cycle of commissioners being involved with companies who contribute revenue to the county. Because it's just ridiculous for you to continue to brag about how you're saving lives when everybody knows that if you want to kill a snake, you have to cut it off at the head. Okay, so the head of the snake is going to be big pharma, it's going to be doctors, you say you're a doctor. So, you know, why aren't you doing more with the medical profession? Because it's doctors who are prescribing these opioids when there's aspirin, ibuprofen, even a steroid, or I get a rhizotomy, you know, where they actually damage the nerves and I don't have to feel pain. So there's so many options other than opioids, and you address none of that. So that you are saving lives just so they can get up and live again and overdose another time means nothing to the opioid crisis. So I'd really like to hear you stop bragging about something that just isn't existing. There's a lot of hypocrisy, and I just want to quote Dr. King, "The hottest place in hell is reserved for those who remain neutral in times of great moral conflict." And Jesus said, "You snakes, you brood of vipers, how will you escape the sentence of hell?" when he says, "Woe to you hypocrites." Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any other public comment? All right. I would like to announce that our next Take Your Child to Work Day is April the 25th, 2019. And just want to let all county staff know that there'll be some information coming very soon in your email box about what the activities are going to be that day and your opportunities to bring your children to work. So we would love to see them all. And any other closing, Commissioner? Okay. Then with that, I will announce that the next meeting will be May 2nd, 2019 of the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners, and take a motion to adjourn the April 18th, 2019 meeting of the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners.
Motion to adjourn.
Moved by Commissioner Gale. I will second. Any board comments or public comments? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Are there any negative votes? Meeting is adjourned. Excuse me, meeting is adjourned, and I'll invite Controller Sanchez up for Salary Board. Good morning, Ms. Perdue.
Good morning. And good morning, members of Salary Board. You should have in front of you a final copy of the Salary Board list. It is a 3-page document dated Wednesday, April 17th, 2019, with a timestamp of 11:46 a.m. Of note, we have 6 retirees: James Kennedy from Children and Youth after 9 years, Joanne Strazieri from the DA's office after 42 years, Mary Ray from the District Justice after 29 years, Remo Cassavo from Domestic Relations after 13 years, Doug Keffer from IT after 31 years, and Patrice Watts from Mental Health after 28 years. All positions have been reviewed and accounted for and are presented for Salary Board consideration.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the April 18th, 2019 Salary Board presentation as given by Director of Human Resources, Ms. Donna Perdue, and to authorize the proper county officials to execute the same?
So moved.
It's moved by Controller Sanchez.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gale. Any board comment? All right, hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Are there any negative votes? Hearing none, motion carries. Any general public comment on Salary Board? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn the April 18th, 2019 meeting of the Montgomery County Salary Board?
So moved.
It's moved by Controller Sanchez.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gale. Any board comments, public comments? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. Any negative votes? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.